So I felt incomplete not making my video last night. I'll be as quick as I can tonight. It is about quarter till midnight right now, but I have a lot more energy than I did last night. I actually was in bed by midnight last night, woke up at 7:30, was getting ready to run, but I had to be at my first job at 10 o'clock. And so this was about a 12 and a half hour day, which was great. Now tomorrow I go in at 11, so I've got an extra hour. I am trying to get back into running. I had to do it on and off the last 2 weeks, depending on the way things went down. And so I made that my exercise up by either walking a lot or riding my bike to work. So yesterday morning I had a very good quiet time, and it was focusing on being still. And you know the verse. And the day was really good. Now, let me recap what happened the night before, which I did not get to do, which was very, very humorous. It was when I went to the Yankees Red Sox game. So when I bought the ticket that I bought, I sat about 13 rows from the Yankee dugout next to a man who does construction for build-outs, retail, commercial, whatnot. Was from Chicago and wanted to see Fenway Park, and talked about his family, whatnot. And then I sat next to a couple who had gone and seen the Doobie Brothers Saturday, and so we compared notes because I had seen them as well. And the way I knew is he was wearing a Doobie Brothers t-shirt. So they actually live in California, do business here twice a year, and love to see a musical event and a sporting event. And so ironically, we went to the same events together. And then the man who sold me the ticket is a Fenway, he's, works for the ballpark. And so his box seats were a few rows down. So a bit later on, when the Chicago gentleman had left, and he came and sat there for a bit, and he was kind of catching me up on the rules of the game. So one of the things that he said when they go into, when they do tie, the extra innings start out with the last person who struck out starting out on second base at the top of the 10th inning. So at that point, he had gone down to his box seats. He waved me down. He said, "Come on down. These are a little bit closer." So I got to watch, the Yankees did. It was 4-4, and then the Yankees, had a triple. And anyway, and I decided to go ahead and go home. But one of the funny things that happened was, and I have really missed the Boston sense of humor. I don't recall ever going to a Yankees Red Sox game before. If I did, I don't know. But anyway, now apparently before it used to be pretty emotional when they would. Whatever. But, we were sitting in Yankee territory, and it was really funny as they would start cheering. There were only a few times I wasn't paying attention, and I got up and I was cheering, and I thought, oh, wait a second, I'm cheering with the Yankees. Anyway, so there was a man who was, he was a Yankee fan, and I tell you what, he was giving everybody grief in a very funny, very funny way. And people were just laughing at him. And he was making everybody laugh, from the Yankees to the Red Sox. And there were a couple of young men sitting in front of Pete. He says, "We know everybody here. We're like family." So it was just like, I said, like fever pitch. He said, exactly like fever pitch. Because they all have these season box seats. Well, anyway, these two young men kept saying things like, okay, so the one Yankee fan who kept standing up and everybody was giving him grief, and he was giving other people grief and good humor, he happened to have no hair. And so the young men, who are probably in their late 20s, early 30s, would say, I went bowling last week, and the ball that I had looked kind of like that. And they kept comparing him to a bowling ball. And one of them got up at one point and got in the aisle and pretended to bowl a ball. And when he sat down, I leaned over and I said, "You guys are terrible." Anyway, they just smiled. And I said, that's one of the reasons I came back to Boston, was I have missed the sense of humor, and they were very, very kind. So that was the funny thing that happened the other night. Now, one of the things that has really struck me is how polite and kind people are here, and they have been to me. And I don't know if it's me or if it's them. I don't know what it is, but the interplay of me with the people from Boston is just a big love affair in the best of senses. And so there were so many good thoughts that I had today. I wish I could have captured all of them, but the one that really stood out to me, a couple of them. Last night, I am not familiar with Porcupine Tree, and so they played last night. Now, the music wasn't, the kind that I would be attracted to. However, this is what was very touching. There were people from all over the world, especially India, and some people approached me and said, they are very, very big in India. And so for us to come here and see them is a really heartwarming thing. And I pictured myself being in another country and seeing a familiar artist and how that would make me feel. And so I realized these people's ears are tuned to that music, and there were some parts that were sort of headbanging, and what was really interesting is they reminded me of Rush at different parts. And I would say that the most popular t-shirt last night were Rush t-shirts from all different concerts and years and tours and whatnot. So, I wasn't the only one apparently. And then, like I said, there were some head-banging numbers. Well, I've got to tell you, I love solving if somebody needs some help, I love helping people find the right answer. And so there were some situations, and I will say something, it gives me great pleasure to do that, to do those things. And I had that same thought tonight. It isn't even so much what I get out of it, it's what I get to give. And to sit there and watch people enjoying having a good time just warms my heart. So Rosalia came. I had never heard of her. And she is a kind of a Tejana. I'm not. I don't think it's Tejana music, but it is. It comes from the Hispanic world, and she's very big in Spain and Europe. And tonight was the first production with dancers. She was very talented and worked very hard, and apparently she had wiped her makeup off on the stage because it was, it was kind of interfering with her performance. But she had a very loyal following, and she plays guitar, piano. And once again, I was very taken with the fact that people are, this music means a lot to them. So therefore, it took me to other artists whose music my ears were tuned to, and why they meant so much to me. And so it's not so much that I have to like the music, but it's watching the people enjoy the music and helping them have a great experience in a wonderful, safe place, and finding the people who can help them if I cannot. So I was very grateful as I was coming home this evening once again, and there's so much more that I could tell you, but I'm going to go ahead and stop there. And I've got to get to bed, and I hopefully will get up in time to go running tomorrow. I've missed running. It is, I would say, in the 50s right now, so I had to pull out my sweater. And fall is hitting New England. So take care, and thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful night, and see you around the corner. Bye-bye.